So.
That was great. Dude.
Oh, there you go. Look at him looking around.
There's no easy way to get to you. Trying to get right there. Just
keep in mind the camera.
yeah, I know.
Hey, Nathaniel, what time did she tell you to sneak out for lunch?
I haven't been told anything, but I'm going home, so.
You're going home? I'll double check. I'll let you guys know.
All right,
It's
I'll be
normal
like,
schedule after this, so I'm assuming that it's still 10:40.
yeah. So
Good morning,
10:50. No, I mean CTC.
and welcome to Oakdale High School's 2021 Veterans Day celebration. Sophie and I would like to thank our veterans for attending today's celebration, and most importantly, for serving our nation. We are delighted that Dr. Tim Traynor, President of Mount St. Mary's University, Dr. Teresa Albin, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Jay Mason, President of the Board of Education, Ms. Karen Yoho, Vice President of the Board of Education, Ms. Liz Barrett, Mr. David Bass, Mr. Jason Johnson, and Mr. Brad Young as well as our veterans, could attend. At this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Oakdale High School Marching Band playing our national anthem. In 1921, an unknown World War I American soldier was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. This site, on a hillside overlooking the Potomac River in the city of Washington, D.C., became the focal point of reverence for America's veterans. Similar ceremonies had occurred earlier in England and France, where an unknown soldier was buried in each of the nation's highest places of honor, Westminster Abbey and the Arc de Triomphe. These memorial gestures took place on November 11th, giving universal recognition to the end of World War I at 11 a.m., November 11th, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The day became known as Armistice Day. In 1926, Armistice Day officially received its name through a congressional resolution. It became a national holiday in 1938 by a congressional act. If the idealistic hope had been realized that World War I was the war to end all wars, November 11th might still be called Armistice Day. However, less than 4 years after the holiday was proclaimed, war broke out in Europe. 16.5 million Americans took part in World War II. 407,000 of them died in service, more than 292 in battle. Veterans Day was first celebrated as Veterans Day in Birmingham, Alabama. In 1947, Raymond Weeks, a World War II veteran, organized National Veterans Day on November 11th. In 1954, Congress passed a bill and President Eisenhower signed it, November 11th, as Veterans Day. Currently, there are over 24 million veterans who have served in the United States Armed Forces who have returned to civilian life in our society. Today, we thank and honor all those who served honorably in the military, in wartime or peacetime. Veterans Day is intended to thank living veterans for their service, to acknowledge their contributions to our national security are appreciated, and to underscore the fact that all who served, not just those who have died, have sacrificed and done their duty. In this light, we would like to thank and recognize our veterans. We will play the Armed Forces Medley. We ask that veterans stand when their branch's song is played. United States Army. Today we have veterans present who have served in every decade since World War II. We ask all of our veterans to stand at this time so we can recognize them. We ask all of our veterans to stand at this time so we can recognize you collectively for your service. In addition, we recognize our faculty and staff who have served, as well as our growing number of alumni who are serving or have committed to serve. Thanks to all our veterans, past and present, who have served our nation for the past 75 years.
Traynor, President of Mount St. Mary's University, with us to deliver our Keynote Address. Retired Brigadier General Tim Traynor most recently served as Dean and Chief Academic Officer at West Point before retiring after a 33-year career in the Army. Dr. Traynor graduated with a Bachelor of Science from the United States Military Academy in 1983, has an MBA from Dubois School of Business at Duke, and a PhD in Industrial Engineering from North Carolina State University. As an engineer officer in the U.S. Army, Dr. Traynor served in operation assignments around the world, including Germany, Honduras, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Fort Riley, Kansas, and Sarajevo, Bosnia. He deployed to Basra, Iraq in the summer of 2007 and worked with the UK-led Provincial Reconstruction Team
in helping the provincial Iraqi leaders to improve their infrastructure revitalization plans. Dr. Traynor is a fellow of the American Society of Engineering Management and was named Engineering Manager of the Year for 2011 by the Society. He is the past president of Epsilon Mu Eta, the National Engineering Management Society. Dr. Traynor taught courses in engineering management, systems engineering, and decision analysis. Dr. Traynor is married to Colonel retired Donna Brazil, PhD, who led the psychology program at West Point until 2013 and now provides educational services and leadership development. Both their daughter, Captain Corey Traynor, an engineer, and son, Captain Dan Traynor, a helicopter pilot, are in the Army's 101st Airborne Division. Their youngest son, First Lieutenant Zach Traynor, is an infantry officer in the 4th Infantry Division at Fort Carson, Colorado. Dr. Traynor's talk today is entitled, "While we honor those who have served in the past, today we challenge those who will serve in the future." We are pleased to welcome Dr. Tim Traynor.
Thank you very much, and you guys are doing a great job. And good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here, and thank you for inviting me. I'm very, very happy to be here, but also very happy and honored that this school, Oakdale, really goes out of its way to honor our veterans. And you see, we have with us veterans that cross the ages from World War II up to present day. And you gave a beautiful melody there, but I'd ask us all to please give a round of applause for the veterans who are with us here today. Thank you for your service. So as a veteran myself, I'm grateful to you and the people of our great nation for recognizing the work and sacrifice of veterans and their families, not just on Veterans Day, but all year round. I was very fortunate to serve in the Army for 33 years, and I consider myself very fortunate to have served and believe that most veterans feel the same. This year marks the 103rd anniversary of Armistice Day, which occurred, as you heard, on November 11th of 1918. The Great War, as it was called, to be the war to end all wars, according to President Woodrow Wilson. History, unfortunately, has proven otherwise. This year, we commemorate another event that happened as a result of World War I, the creation of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the tomb, a reminder of the ultimate sacrifice some of our veterans have made and our nation's debt to those who have served with honor. As a sacred memorial site and the grave of 3 unknown American service members, the tomb connects visitors with the legacy of the United States Armed Forces throughout our nation's history. It's very close by in Arlington, Virginia, and I hope you get a chance to visit someday. Veterans Day recognizes and honors the service of our nation's veterans. Today, we remember those who have served and those who are still serving in our nation's military. A special group of Americans to whom we owe a great debt and whose service has guaranteed the freedom of our nation since its birth in 1776. A group of Americans with few resources or training stood up valiantly to tyranny in spite of the overwhelming odds of facing a professional British Army. They did that, and they won us the freedom we so cherish today. Today, we remember our American military members who fought for our independence. We remember the hundreds of thousands that died in the fields of Gettysburg, in the trenches of France during World War I, the beaches of Normandy, and the deserts of Africa during World War II. We remember our veterans who fought in Vietnam and Korea, and also remember our family members and friends who have fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. As you heard in my bio, my son Danny is a Black Hawk pilot who served with the 101st Airborne Division in Afghanistan as a medevac pilot. And my daughter Corey, who is also in the 101st, is an engineer who deployed to Iraq in 2018 and 19. Our youngest son, Zach, is an infantry officer serving in the 4th Infantry Division at Fort Carson, Colorado. While we are no longer at war as a nation, I ask you to remember those still serving in many places around the world to secure our freedom. While I am proud my kids chose to serve, my wife and I do worry each and every day. Throughout our country's existence, our American veterans have served the U.S., have put their lives on the line, and, when called upon, have sacrificed their lives for the rights that each and every one of us enjoys today. Whenever and wherever the nation has made the call, our veterans have stepped up to do what needs to be done. Throughout countless conflicts, they have been there for us, and in times of peace and prosperity, they have remained there, in the background, always ready. Our veterans have proudly carried the torch of liberty for all to see. Back in 1919, almost 100 years ago, Woodrow Wilson declared the first remembrance of Armistice Day to mark the commemoration of the end of hostilities in World War I that occurred on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. Different countries around the world joined in this commemoration, calling the 11th of November Armistice Day, Remembrance Day, and the Day of Peace. On that day, the world offered its silence to honor the 20 million soldiers that died during 4 years of war. My mother's father, Cy Stagg, a Green Mountain boy from Vermont, served in the American Expeditionary Force during World War I. I still have letters written by Private Stagg that speak of his experience in the trenches in the front lines in France and being gassed by the Germans who lobbed artillery shells filled with mustard gas, often at Allied lines. A few years ago, I read a book titled A Hobbit, a Wardrobe, and a Great War, written by Joseph LeConte. Okay, quiz time. Can anybody recall what the word hobbit is from? Hobbit. Doesn't ring any bells? Back there.
Lord of the Rings.
There you go. Yep, it's from the Lord of the Rings. Do you know who wrote it? Remember who wrote it? Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, how about a wardrobe? What does that word conjure up? Right, and it comes from the Chronicle of Narnia, written by C.S. Lewis. J.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, both well-renowned authors, served in the trenches as soldiers in World War I. And the book I mentioned discussed how the life-changing experience of their service influenced greatly their writings. World War I changed the course of history and had a tremendous impact on many aspects of life, including literature for generations that continues today. In 2002, I was fortunate to serve in the war-torn country of Bosnia-Herzegovina on November 11th. I attended a very moving ceremony recognizing Remembrance Day conducted by our British comrades. A whole generation of young men in England was devastated during World War I, so this day is truly celebrated as a day of very solemn remembrance in England and in other countries. With time, America expanded the meaning of this day to include all of our veterans, not just those fallen during World War I. President Eisenhower in 1954 put this in public law, recognizing November 11th as a day to honor veterans. So today, we recognize and honor not just those who have fought for us throughout our country's history. We recognize maybe with even more passion those who at this very moment continue to protect our nation and fight against terrorism, against those who seek to change our commitment to freedom. Veterans Day is extremely important. The military of the United States is made up entirely of volunteers. Now, for those students here, if you lived in other countries now, many of you would be forced to serve in their military very soon. In America, our military men and women, over a million of them, are not motivated by their paychecks. There are plenty of better paying jobs. They're not attracted by a comfortable, safe, and easy job, as those serving in harm's way around the world can tell you. Instead, each and every one of our military members is motivated daily by a sense of higher purpose and by a job that, when done well, resounds past a salary, filling instead a need to do our civic and sacred duty. These are the rewards our veterans also get when they help battle wildfires and serve those in need after hurricanes here at home or in places like Puerto Rico. These are the rewards they get when their job ensures the people they love and care for are protected. As we honor and remember our veterans this week, we make our appreciation for their efforts felt, and we can make it a bit easier for them to endure all they do when in harm's way. For those veterans who have paid the ultimate price while serving our nation, we can honor their families by understanding the sense of loss they suffer day by day in silence as they also honor and remember them. I finished my Army career by having the honor of serving for 6 years as the Dean and Chief Academic Officer at the United States Military Academy at West Point. There, I was so impressed with the current generation of young people, your peers, who chose to step up and answer the call to serve our nation in the military. They are part of a select group today of 0.5% of our population who serve in the armed forces. I was proud that they chose to serve while we were a nation at war, volunteering despite knowing that they would soon be serving in harm's way after graduation. Soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and women, and those serving in the Coast Guard don't see themselves as being brave or special. They just say they're doing their jobs. Many have deployed multiple times, and many who were injured during these deployments want to go back, not for a sense of out of a sense of revenge, but out of a sense of teamwork and duty. They fight for our security in an insecure world because that's what they promised they would do. Our democracy depends on the willingness of its finest men and women to step forward and to serve, to dedicate themselves to a greater cause, the cause of protecting our democracy. For more than 2 centuries, the veterans of our nation have been willing to serve and to sacrifice for a country and a cause they love more than their own lives. This has not changed. I was very happy to see upon my arrival that Mount St. Mary's University has a beautiful veterans walkway where we prominently fly the American flag, along with the flags of the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard. We also have the names of Mount graduates who served in uniform in our nation's wars since World War I, etched in stone or bricks. At Mount St. Mary's, we are also very proud of our ranking as among the best colleges for veterans in the Northeast region of 200 colleges and universities in that category. So now, I challenge you. I challenge you to commit yourself to preparing academically, through leadership and service opportunities, to be ready to lead our nation into the future, whether in uniform or not. We need people who can think critically and creatively, who can think on their own and not be distracted or influenced by loud and demonstrative rhetoric that is discriminatory and filled with hate. You develop those critical thinking and creative problem-solving skills by applying yourself in school, by reading and engaging in intellectual exercise and discourse with teachers, parents, friends, and peers. Being able to rationally think through the tough issues of our times and develop effective solutions that can be equitably implemented to the benefit of society is what we need you to do in the future. We need you to develop your intellect so you can one day lead our nation in peace and growing prosperity for our citizens. Intellect alone is not enough. You need to use it to benefit others. Do this by challenging yourself now through leadership opportunities in your school, church, teams, and community. I always thought it was an honor and a privilege to be put into leadership positions in the Army, and I am truly blessed now to be trusted to lead Mount St. Mary's University as its 26th president. As you take on leadership positions, seek to be a servant leader who is there to help those you lead be better. One of the best ways you can practice leadership now is to take part in service projects around your school and in the community. The sense of purpose and accomplishment you get from helping others is rewarding. At the Mount, our mission is about helping people lead lives of significance in service to God and others. You don't need to wear a military uniform to serve. You can make a tremendous difference by serving others in many different ways. Helping to organize and implement a service project is one great way to get leadership experience in high school. It will also look very good on your college applications. Trust me on that. And so, as we get ready to commemorate Veterans Day, what can you do to honor our veterans who don't wear a military uniform anymore? Please remember that they have done their duty, and they and their families have made sacrifices for all of us. What is more, even as they reluctantly put away their military uniforms, some of them continue to serve our country as our teachers, while others still continue to protect us and keep us safe here at home as police officers and emergency responders. These veterans continue to serve our nation as citizens, and we owe them our consideration, our respect, and our thanks. So please honor our veterans by thanking them, not just with your words, but with your actions. Thank our veterans by taking advantage of all the rights they have secured with their blood, the rights that they continue to defend every day. While you might not be able to vote yet, I encourage you to register when first eligible. Veterans secured that right for you, so pay them back by exercising your hard-won right to participate in our democracy by voting. Take the opportunity to live your lives well, to be good daughters and sons, good students, good friends, good citizens. That's the thanks we Americans owe our veterans. A humble gesture of gratitude from a very grateful nation. If you have a relative or a neighbor who is a veteran, I ask you to please take time on Thursday to thank them. Fly the American flag proudly outside your home and on future Veterans Day. But most importantly, please take time this week to remember why you are free, to attend such a great and awesome school. Free to read and say what you think. Free to practice the religion you choose or no religion. Veterans have secured those rights since 1776 through their service, and some by sacrificing their lives for the ideals that make our nation great. Thank you all for your attention this morning. Thank you for putting on this ceremony and honoring veterans, and may God bless the USA. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Traynor. We appreciate your insights. At this time, Brennan, Caroline Patrice, and Josh Townshend will sing God Bless America.
While Veterans Day honors all those who have served, today we cannot forget those who are missing in action or who died in defense of our nation. If you look to the table at the right hand of the stage, you will see the small table set for one.
This table is our way of acknowledging those members of our proud profession of arms who are missing from our midst. They are those killed in actions, prisoners of war, and those that are listed as missing in action. We call them brothers and sisters. They are unable to be with us this morning, so we remember them through many symbols at this table.
The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose in the vase reminds us of those families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who have fallen.
The red ribbon, tied so prominently on the vase, is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the lapel and breast of thousands who bear witness to their underlying determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing.
A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. The salt is symbolic of the tears, theirs and ours.
The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us this night. The chair is empty, they are not here.
Remember all of you who served with them and called them comrade, who depended upon their might and aid and relied upon them, for they have not forgotten you.
At this time, Dr. Ed Scoder will offer a few remarks.
I would like to thank Dr. Traynor, Dr. Albin, members of the Board of Education, and our veterans who joined us today. Next month before the holidays, wreaths across America will place thousands of wreaths on veterans' graves to honor those who have served. As part of the task, they read each service member's name as they place the wreath upon his or her grave. In Song 40 Tales from the Afterlife, David Eagleman claims, there are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is the moment, sometime in the future, when your name is spoken for the last time. Roger Thomas. Roger Thomas wasn't one of my countless uncles, second cousins, neighbors, teachers, or scoutmasters who I knew as a child who had served in World War I, World War II, or Korea. No, I met Roger Thomas on a Sunday morning in 2006 in the McDonald's on 7th Street. We enjoyed our Egg McMuffin and coffee. He was wearing a World War II veteran's cap. Being naturally shy, quiet, and introverted, I immediately engaged him in conversation about his service. Over the next several months, we simply ran into each other 4 or 5 times on Sunday mornings. We talked about his service in World War II. He gave me the Remember Pearl Harbor pen that I'm wearing today. Roger Thomas passed away in 2007. I'm going to ask everyone to say the name of a veteran they knew at some time today. Let's prevent their third and final death as we remember them and their service. Roger Thomas, thank you for your service.
Again, we would like to thank Dr. Traynor and our veterans for their service and for joining us today. We will conclude with Catherine Brennan, Caroline Patrice, and Joshua Townshend singing America the Beautiful.
Mountains
Thank you. Our veterans can go ahead and head up to B200 where we will have refreshments for you.